What if that first cup of coffee you crave, the second you open your eyes, isn't giving you any actual energy? What if, instead of fueling your day, it is actively draining your future life force, operating exactly like a ruthless loan shark? Today, we are exposing the biggest lie in the productivity world, the caffeine myth. If you keep blindly chugging coffee, you guarantee you will stay trapped in a miserable loop of waking up exhausted, white-knuckling through the afternoon, and crashing hard before dinner. You are systematically destroying your body's natural energy system. But do not panic. I will walk you through a neuroscience-backed protocol for consuming caffeine. I will show you how to hack your biology so you never experience another afternoon energy crash. You will maintain a godlike level of focus all day long without ever quitting the coffee you love. We have all been there. The alarm goes off, and you physically cannot compute how it is already morning. You drag yourself out of bed feeling completely hollowed out. Naturally, your first instinct is to stumble blindly toward the coffee maker. You take that first glorious sip. 5 minutes pass. Your heart rate picks up, the brain fog lifts, and you honestly believe the coffee just handed you a freshly charged battery pack of energy. Wrong, dead wrong. Here is the brutal truth. Caffeine never produces a single drop of actual usable energy. It is essentially a brilliant biological con artist that tricks your brain using a deceptive illusion. It is not giving you energy right now. It is aggressively borrowing energy from your afternoon and stealing from tomorrow. Think about it. If coffee created genuine energy, why does the amount you need keep going up, but the time you feel awake keeps going down? Why do you get hit with an irresistible wave of fatigue later in the day? That is the biological debt collector knocking on your door. To understand why you feel like garbage every afternoon, we have to take a trip inside your brain to look at a crucial chemical called adenosine. Imagine your brain is a massive high-end theater. When you wake up after a good sleep, this theater is empty. But as you go about your day, working and moving, your brain actively produces a massive crowd of people. These people are the adenosine. Throughout the day, these adenosine people walk into the theater and sit down in carefully designated seats, which are your brain's natural receptors. As seats fill up, your brain reads the room. Once the theater gets packed, your brain sends an undeniable signal to your nervous system. The theater is full, I am exhausted, we need to go to sleep. This is the fundamental mechanism of sleep pressure. So where does your beloved morning coffee fit into this? Caffeine molecules have a structural shape almost identical to adenosine. When you drink that morning brew, you send thousands of aggressive caffeine hooligans rushing through the doors. They do not buy tickets. They sprint in and violently steal the seats meant for the adenosine. Now the seats are occupied by caffeine. Your brain looks at the theater, sees no adenosine sitting down, and assumes you are not tired at all. Boom, you feel completely wired. But here is the terrifying part. Those exhausted adenosine molecules that got kicked out of their seats did not magically disappear. They are gathering out in the lobby. As the hours tick by, they multiply rapidly, crowding together and getting angry. A few hours later, the caffeine finally wears off and leaves the theater. What happens next? That massive, incredibly angry mob of adenosine that has been bottlenecked in the lobby surges into the theater like a tsunami. They instantly flood every single empty seat at exactly the same time. This is the infamous caffeine crash. Your energy levels do not just drop back to normal, they plummet straight off a cliff. You get hit with all the accumulated exhaustion from the last several hours simultaneously. This is why caffeine is a loan shark. You borrow a tiny bit of fake energy in the morning, but the interest rate you pay later is astronomical. Let us look at how you are personally sabotaging your own energy systems. The first fatal mistake is drinking coffee the exact second you wake up. This is a massive biological error. The human body comes pre-installed with its own natural boot-up sequence, known as the Cortisol Awakening Response. The moment your eyes open, your endocrine system floods your body with a spike of cortisol to wake you up and make you alert. Think of this as your body brewing its own natural espresso. If you immediately dump artificial caffeine into your system during this critical window, you severely blunt your body's ability to produce that cortisol. You train your biology to become dependent on an external substance just to function. Furthermore, when you first wake up, your theater is completely empty. Drinking coffee right then is like frantically pumping premium gas into a car that already has a full tank. It does nothing, it just spills out and ruins the engine. The result is your natural wake-up system gets broken, and the caffeine wears off right when your natural cortisol drops. This is exactly why you are violently yawning by mid-morning, forcing you to buy another cup. The second fatal mistake is the afternoon survival cup. You are crashing hard, so you brew another cup just to survive the workday. But here is the math you cannot ignore. Caffeine has a half-life of 5 to 7 hours. If you drink a strong coffee in the mid-afternoon, by the time you are getting ready for bed, a massive amount of caffeine is still aggressively circulating in your bloodstream and actively hijacking your brain's receptors. This completely destroys your sleep architecture. You might fall asleep, but you will not get deep, restorative slow-wave sleep. You wake up feeling even more exhausted because your brain simply did not recover. That means you need even more coffee just to function. You become a helpless slave to the molecule. Am I telling you to quit coffee forever? Absolutely not. I love coffee. It provides an incredible boost to focus and physical performance. The real problem is never if you drink it, but how and when. I will teach you how to perfectly exploit the benefits of caffeine without paying the horrific biological price. The first step is a mandatory 90 to 120-minute delay. No matter how groggy you feel, do not touch coffee immediately after waking up. Instead, get outside and let natural sunlight hit your eyes for at least 10 minutes. This naturally triggers your internal cortisol spike. Drink a massive glass of water to rehydrate and do some light stretching. You must white-knuckle through the first hour and a half of your day. Why? Because you give your body time to naturally clear out the leftover adenosine from the night before, and letting your natural cortisol absolutely peak. Once your cortisol naturally starts to dip, then you introduce the caffeine. The caffeine catches you exactly as you fall, bridging the energy gap perfectly. You will entirely bypass the afternoon crash, and your focus will carry you effortlessly into the evening. I bet you right now, if you implement this single delay for just 3 days, you will be shocked to realize you no longer even crave that second cup later in the day. The second step is establishing a strict caffeine curfew early in the afternoon. No matter how stressed you are, cut off all caffeine intake roughly 8 to 10 hours before your target bedtime. This includes green tea, black tea, and energy drinks. If you genuinely feel tired later in the day, take a brisk 10-minute walk outside or do a non-sleep deep rest protocol. These actions actually restore your neural energy natively, rather than masking fatigue with chemicals. The third step is the strategic reset. Receptors adapt and constantly build tolerance. If pulling a double-shot espresso does nothing to your energy levels, it means your brain has grown extra adenosine receptors just to fight the caffeine. You need a hard biological reset. Once a month, pick a weekend and consume 0 caffeine for 2 days. You will likely get a headache and feel lethargic. That is normal. That is simply your body paying back the loan shark. But by Monday morning, when you wait your delayed time and have that first magical cup, you will experience what true, unadulterated cognitive enhancement actually feels like. Caffeine was never the enemy here. Ignorance was. Stop acting like a puppet on a chemical string and start managing your physiological energy like a precision engineer. Stop borrowing time and precious energy from tomorrow. Use these protocols, respect your biology, and unlock the limitless potential already sitting inside you. I'm Reset Protocol. Follow me and I'll show you the scientific methods to find your most efficient self. See you in the next video.